The sun sank low over the red plains of Wyoming Sector 7, where the wind carried the scent of dust, grass, and engine oil. Eli Brooks, a quiet rancher with more heart than money, was driving home from a feed store when he saw something strange on the roadside. Not just strange, impossible. A woman, tall, silver-skinned, her once elegant robes torn, stood clutching 3 small children. Their luminous eyes blinked through tears, skin glowing faintly in the fading light. They looked lost. Not just lost, ruined. He slowed his truck, engine growling. "Ma'am, you folks all right?" The woman turned, her voice trembling but dignified. We need shelter. Please, just for tonight." He took in the details. Their clothes once royal, their posture proud despite exhaustion. She wasn't some drifter. She had the bearing of someone who once had everything. Eli swallowed hard. "Get in my truck right now," he said, firm but kind. The alien mother hesitated, glancing at her children. The eldest, a boy no older than 10, nodded. "Mom, please." She exhaled, defeated, and helped him climb into the back seat. Eli started the engine. "Hang on tight, ma'am. We'll get you safe." 2. The stranger's house. Eli's ranch wasn't much. A creaky old farmhouse, a barn full of broken tools and miles of empty sky. But to the alien family, it must have seemed like a fortress. He gave them blankets, poured milk for the kids, and cooked beans over the stove. The children devoured them as if they hadn't eaten in days. The woman sat silently, hands folded, even covered in dirt. She radiated grace. Finally, Eli asked gently, "You got a name?" She looked up, eyes shimmering violet. "Lyrina Vellerin of the House Vellerin. Or, I suppose formally." Eli raised an eyebrow. "That some kind of royal title?" She gave a bitter smile. "Once. My husband led the Vellerin Corporation. Before the collapse, we lost everything when Earth's markets banned off-world trade. They seized our ships, our home. We were exiled." Eli leaned against the counter, nodding slowly. "Guess money don't mean much when the ground gets pulled out from under you." Lyrina's gaze softened. "You speak as though you've lost something too." He shrugged. "Lost a ranch once. Drought took most of it. Folks don't realize, when the land stops giving, pride don't feed you." For the first time that night, she smiled faintly. Free, a quiet understanding. The next morning, Eli woke to find the alien kids sitting on his porch steps, watching the sunrise with fascination. Their mother was inside, washing dishes in the sink. "You don't gotta do that," he said. "I can't just sit idle," she replied. "Besides, it feels grounding." He poured coffee, watching her move with the elegance of someone used to servants. Her every gesture was deliberate, refined, and yet she was scrubbing like her life depended on it. "Kids can stay here a while," he said carefully. "I ain't rich, but I got food, roof, and some work." Lyrina looked up. "You'd let us stay?" Just like that. He nodded. "Ain't right leaving anyone on the road, human or alien." Tears welled in her eyes. "You don't even know me." Eli smiled faintly. "Don't need to. I know desperation when I see it." 4. The town talks. By noon, the gossip had already started. Eli's taken in one of them off-worlders. Saw her washing clothes behind his barn. Glows like a damn lantern. 3 kids, too. He's lost his mind. At the diner, Eli ignored the stares. Folks had always thought him odd, quiet, too kind for his own good. Now they called him a fool. But he didn't care. When he came home that evening, he saw Lyrina and her children tending to his neglected garden. The eldest boy used small bursts of telekinesis to pull weeds. The youngest girl laughed as she shaped water droplets into floating spheres. The sight warmed something deep in Eli's chest. He leaned on the fence. "Looks like you've found your rhythm." Lyrina smiled shyly. "My children are learning to work with their hands. It's humbling." "Humbling ain't bad," Eli said. "It's what keeps a soul alive." 5. Broken machinery. Days turned to weeks. Eli taught the alien children how to mend fences, herd cattle, and drive the old truck. They called him Mr. Eli, though soon even that faded to just Eli. Lyrina helped around the house, cooking with strange spices that turned his simple meals into feasts. Sometimes in the quiet of evening, she would hum soft, alien notes that made the air shimmer faintly with color. But one morning disaster struck. The well pump broke, the only source of water for miles. Eli cursed under his breath, kicking the rusted machinery. "She's done for." Lyrina stepped forward, studying the device. "May I?" He shrugged. "Be my guest." Her hands glowed faintly as she traced the corroded metal. "Your technology is quaint, but fixable. She whispered something in her own language, and the pump sputtered to life, water gushing clean and cold. Eli stared. You just saved me 2 months' pay. She smiled faintly. Consider it rent. He chuckled. Guess you're worth more than a whole crew of ranch hands. Her cheeks tinted silver pink, the alien version of a blush. You're kind to say so. 6. The night storm. That night, a massive storm rolled in, lightning slicing the sky, rain drumming the tin roof. The children huddled near the fireplace, frightened by thunder. Lyra and I stood by the window, watching the storm with a strange expression, both longing and fear. Eli brought her a blanket. Storms scare you? She shook her head. On my world, storms were cleansing, but here, they remind me of everything we've lost. He looked at her, really looked. The proud alien matriarch now barefoot in a rancher's home, her glow dimmed by grief. You didn't deserve what happened, he said softly. She met his gaze. No one deserves exile, but sometimes the universe humbles us to teach compassion. Lightning flashed, casting their faces in pale blue. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, from the other room, her youngest child called out, Mama, the roof is leaking. They both laughed, the tension broken, and hurried to place a bucket under the dripping ceiling. 7. The sheriff's visit. The next morning, a black hover cruiser rolled up the dirt road. Sheriff Harlan stepped out, broad-shouldered, suspicious eyes hidden behind mirrored lenses. Morning, Eli, he said. Got some reports about you harboring off-worlders without permit. Eli frowned. They're just trying to survive. Law don't care about intentions. The Federation wants every alien registered. Lyra and I appeared at the doorway, standing tall despite the threat. We are not criminals. The sheriff sneered. Tell that to the people your kind put out of business. Eli stepped between them. You got a problem, you take it up with me. For a tense second, the air crackled. Then the sheriff sighed. You always were too soft, Eli. Don't let this ruin you. He turned and drove off. When the cruiser disappeared over the hill, Lyra and I's composure finally cracked. You risked everything for us. Eli shrugged. Ain't the first time I stood up to fools. Won't be the last. Her eyes glistened. You don't even know how rare your kind of courage is. He smiled gently. Just seems like the right thing to do. 8. The harvest. By autumn, the ranch had changed. The once dry fields flourished under alien care. Lyra and I used her energy manipulation to enrich the soil, and her children guided irrigation channels with precision. For the first time in years, Eli's crops were abundant. The town took notice. People who once mocked him now came asking for help. When the mayor visited, hat in hand, Eli said only, Funny thing about kindness, it grows like corn. You just got to plant it first. That night, Lyra and I stood beside him in the field, watching the stars. You've given my children a home, she said softly. They laugh again. They dream. Eli turned toward her. And you? You ever dream? She smiled faintly. Lately, yes, I dream of peace. They stood in silence, wind brushing through golden stalks. Two souls from different worlds bound by shared struggle. 9. The decision. Weeks later, a ship descended near the ranch. Sleek and silver, Federation insignia glowing faintly. A messenger stepped out. Lyra Velerin. The Trade Council has reinstated your citizenship. Your assets are restored. You and your children are free to return. The children cheered, but Lyra face was unreadable. That night, she found Eli sitting on the porch, sharpening his old knife. You should be happy, he said quietly. She shook her head. I am, but happiness isn't always where you expect it. He looked up. You going back? I thought I wanted to, she admitted. But when I had everything, I had no peace. Here, with nothing, I found it. He said nothing, just stared at the stars. Finally, she whispered, If we stayed, would you let us? Eli chuckled softly. I told you the first day, my door's open. 10. The new beginning. The next morning, the ship was gone. The townsfolk gossiped again, how the alien lady turned down wealth to live with a rancher. Some said it was love, others said madness. Eli didn't care what they said. The ranch grew stronger. The children thrived. And sometimes, when the sun set over the golden fields, Lyra would stand beside him, hand resting gently on his arm. They didn't need to name what they had. It was enough to know it was real. 11. Epilogue years later. Years later, people still told the story of the humble rancher and the alien woman who lost everything, only to find something greater on Earth. Travelers who passed through the valley spoke of strange lights over the fields, laughter in 2 languages, and children who could make flowers bloom with a touch. And at the heart of it all stood Eli's old truck, parked beside the barn. Faded paint and all, the same truck where one man had once said, "Get in my truck right now." Those words had changed 4 lives, and maybe healed 2 worlds.